Hello everybody, and welcome to Kobe's Classroom, the visual guide for the fight Recollection Extreme versus Zelenia. This guide was made using the strats that we use in the Materia Party Finder, so things may be slightly different in your region. So without further ado, let's get started. The fight begins with Thorned Catharsis, a raid wide. Next up is Shock, and we're going to get into our standard clock spots. When the cast finishes, one roll will be targeted with some donuts, and the other roll will get AoEs. Some towers will spawn roughly at the intercardinals. We need the donut player in each color waymark quadrant to soak their tower. The AoE player can then position at the cardinal. When the Alexandrian Holycast finishes, everyone will get a 3-second timer above their head. When the timer expires, the donuts and AoEs will keep repeatedly doing damage in their area, the donut players stay in the tower, the AoE players move out. Spectre of the Lost is a pair of tethers that need to be taken by the tanks and moved northwest and northeast, as they will do a conal tank buster. Escelons Fall is the first mechanic that some people might struggle with. The boss will telegraph a series of 4 pink and purple diamonds. If you haven't seen these before, pink means she'll hit the 4 closest players with proteans, purple means she'll hit the 4 furthest players. You can see this in the symbol as the pink diamonds are closer together and the purple diamonds are further apart. After being hit with a protean, those players will get a debuff, meaning they can't take the next hit, so we need to alternate baits. To do this, we have supports take the first and third, and DPS take the second and fourth, with supports north and DPS south in this lineup. There will always be 2 close and 2 far baits, and both roles always have to handle 1 close and 1 far. Let's go through the sequence now. This first one is close, and then close, far, and finally far. So supports start close, then DPS close, supports far, DPS far. And that's it. This happens 3 times in the fight, so you'll get some more examples later. Stock Break is a multiple hit party stack to heal and mid through. Blessed Barricade is an intermission ad phase. We pre-position support west, DPS east. Zelenia becomes untargetable and tethers to 4 orbs. These orbs have to be destroyed before Zelenia's Aether reaches 100. While breaking the orbs, a clone will spawn on the east and west, tethering to a player. Each clone will be raising its sword to the left or right, signaling which side it's going to cleave. The tethered player needs to aim this clone so the cleave is pointed outwards. At the same time, the non-tethered players deal with a 3-person tower. The second clone spawn, and are handled the exact same. Each tower will alternate between north and south. This then just repeats until all orbs are broken, at which point Zelenia will become targetable again and cast Perfumed Quietist, a raid wide which wipes if she has 100 Aether. Your 2-minute window comes up during this intermission, but I recommend saving your burst until after to use it on the boss again. Next up is Roseblood Bloom 1. You're going to see variations of this 6 times throughout the fight. The arena transforms into a pattern that looks like this. The black tiles here are safe tiles, the red tiles are covered in roses which propagate any magic attack they get hit by. There's also a circle in the middle that inflicts a heavy dot if you walk over it, so never run through the center. To handle Roseblood 1, we need to identify the 3 safe tiles in the middle and position at them. Alexandrian Thunder 2 will show some cones and a spinning direction. Stand behind the rotation and follow it around. Once you reach the end, all players will get an Alexandrian Thunder 3 spread AoE. Just eyeball the spread. You can run over rose tiles while this is casting, but don't stand on them when it goes off. This phase ends with a Thorned Catharsis raid wide. Roseblood Bloom 2 is next. This one can be very hard to see until you get used to it. This time there will be safe tiles on the east and west, with one side having 2 safe tiles in the middle, and the other having 2 safe tiles on the outside. She starts casting Thunder Slash, showing a donut or point blank AoE, and telegraphing 6 cleaves. If we start in, we want to be on the side with 2 outer tiles. If we start out, you want to be on the side with 2 inner tiles. The cleaves keep coming out. At the 4th cleave, the other donut or point blank will show. When the cast finishes, we move in or out after the donut or AoE goes off, and avoid the cleaves. The cleaves are physical, so they don't erupt the tiles, but the lightning rings will. And that's that. People do get hit a lot by this one because they forget which order the cleaves go off, or they start on the wrong side, or run through the roses at a bad time. But with practice it becomes easier to see. Afterwards, we get a Spectre of the Lost Tank Buster. Next up is Roseblood Bloom 3, which gives us this pattern on the floor. For this we find the single open tile in the middle and make that our new north. We can then position on these tiles based on new north. Bud of Valor will spawn a clone at the south, which spawns some towers on the outer rose tiles. And Blazon will mark all 4 players of one roll with a rose marker. These players will turn the tile they're on into a rose tile. All the non-rose players can stand on their tower tile. All connected roses also count as being part of the tower. If any towers get connected by roses, they will turn red and explode, wiping the group. The roses drop on the appropriate tiles, and the rose players move to a safe tile. Then all the towers resolve. Once you know your position based on your north, this one's pretty easy. Afterwards, we get a raid wide. Bud of Valor will spawn a clone at the south. This clone gives 3 players of one roll a donut, and 1 player of each roll a stack marker. At the same time, the boss starts casting Escelons Fall 2. To handle this, we have support stack up north and DPS stack south. The roll that didn't get donuts is going to take the first and third baits, and the donut roll takes the second and fourth. The pattern here is far, and then close, close, far. Around the third bait, the donuts and stacks resolve, and then we handle the Escelons Fall, so this would be DPS far, supports close, DPS close, supports far. Finally, a stock break party stack. Roseblood Bloom 4 is one of the trickier ones. We get this pattern of tiles on the floor. In the middle there will be one side with 4 safe and 2 safe. We make the 2 safe side our new north, and get into the 4 tiles at the back. Melees in, ranged out, group 1 relative west and group 2 relative east. Emblazon gives one roll the rose marker again. Those players will stay in these tiles. The other roll will get a spread and move to the other side. Remember, there is a bleed puddle in the middle, and one moving through is just part of the animation. With these spread AoEs, you want to be careful not to hit the outer tiles near the rose players, as the hit would propagate through, killing all of them. The rose tiles drop, and the spread AoEs resolve. Next, all players meet at the relative north for Encircling Thorns. This will tether all DPS to a support. Standing close together means you have less distance to move to break this tether. Alexandrian Banish marks a support with a stacked marker and another with an AoE. We have supports move left looking at the boss and DPS move right. The supports want to stand next to the rose tile, making sure to overlap the AoE and stack, and the DPS want to stand in the roses. The AoE will activate the roses, so the stack can propagate through for the DPS to help soak. This all ends with a raid wide. Blood of Valor will spawn a clone in the north and south. Escelons Fall 3 begins. This works almost the exact same as the first one. Supports first, DPS second. At the second symbol, the north clone will start to show a cleave direction. We avoid the cleave and then resolve the pattern. This one was close, close, far, far. At the third set of baits, the south clone will show a cleave direction to avoid after the fourth. So if you have to bait far, don't go too far or you might not make the cleave dodge. Finally, a stock break stack. Getting close to the end now. Next up is Roseblood 5. This one's pretty easy, but it looks like a lot. We get this pattern with the northeast and southwest quadrants safe. Valorous Ascension will do a raid wide and spawn some blades in the southeast or northeast that do line AoEs. We move to the quadrant to be safe from their first set. Thunder Slash starts casting and we get a donut or point blank. Stand inside the safe section. All the remaining telegraphs come out, which looks crazy, but it is easy to avoid. The cast finishes, and the first lines, cleave, and donut or AoE resolve. Then we just run clockwise across the roses to the next safe tile, avoiding the other donut or AoE. And we're safe from everything. At the end, we have a tank buster. Roseblood 6 is the last and hardest mechanic if you do it as intended. However, we're going to just cheese it because the cheese is very easy and simple to do. You can also just skip this mechanic entirely with enough DPS. In my trial runs we had to actually hold damage so I could get footage of this, so expect to see skip Roseblood 6 or disband parties, especially as people get more geared through Savage and Tomes. Each quadrant will have one rose tile. Bud of Valor spawns a clone that places a tower on each rose tile. One player of each role gets a rose marker. We're going to place these roses in the tile diagonal from the rose tile in our quadrant. The non-rose players can stand in the tower in their quadrant. The boss casts Holy Hazard telegraphing 2 cleaves, which you can ignore. The roses drop, and the second cleave telegraphs. The rose players move to a safe tile, and you can just tank LB or mitigate through the cleave damage. And that's it. From this point on, we just get repeat mechanics until Enrage, where the entire floor will be roses, killing everyone on the next spell cast. If you liked this video, you can leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at BigKobeLive, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.